Hello everybody, look, today what I would like to do is give you a bit of a brief rundown on things that you should be able to do for the QCS test. Look, it's been a little while since we've done this, so let's have a go at this and see how we go. Now, you'll notice here I've given you Unit 1. Now, it's a bit skew-if and a bit sideways, but the whole purpose is there's a few things that you need to deal with this. For example, when you look at this here, you'll notice that's a whole bunch of prose of writing. Now, when you get this style of question given to you, the first thing you need to do is you need to actually look at what the item is actually saying. What does the item want you to do? Now, for example, it says here, draw a diagram that gives you a snapshot, or bird's eye view, of the comment of the moment of expect. So in other words, you've got to look at these things here and from into that text. Now, if you had read the text first and then go to these questions, then you don't really know what you were meant to be writing, because you actually have forgotten what you read. So when you get questions like this, take note of the questions before you start to read. Use your time wisely. Now, we'll move on and we'll see what happens in the next slide. Okay, the next slide. You'll notice here that it's very visual, and the first thing you get drawn to are the pictures. Now, the problem with this is that you waste time. So try to realise that when you see some pictures, don't look at the pictures to start with. There are, in this unit here, there are approximately six lines of reading, and now I guarantee you that will only be an introduction to the unit to give you some background information. There will not be much information in there that relates to the actual questions. If you look at the question, it says match each illustration in the text associated description by writing the appropriate number in the box space provided. So in other words, it's one of these ones where you match up you used to do a lot in middle school, match up the appropriate number with the appropriate picture. Now, a couple of ways you can do that. Do the ones that are most obvious. Okay. So, let's get rid of some of the stuff here. You do the ones that are most obvious, and let's say without me actually doing it, I might say, look, that's the number 1 there, this here might be number 2, and this one here might be number 5. So I'm stuck with 3 and 4. So 3 and 4, I don't really know, but by doing the most obvious ones first, I've actually limited myself down to a 50-50 chance. So we can get away with things like that. Now, next page. This is one question out of a series of questions. First thing I notice is that it's 4 stars. That means to me that it's going to take a bit of work to do. Now, they give me through 2.5 lines of reading. Won't take long to that. Now, the most key important point to me is, I'll get rid of all that. I'll get rid of it all. My mistake there, sorry guys. The most important part and whole is here is that little sentence there. What exact fraction? And more importantly, that don't work, does it? Is there an undo button? Maybe not, so how about I use this button here? Okay, let's use this. Exact fraction. They want the answer as a fraction, not as a decimal. So look, for example, when the people read your work and correct your work, they have an example of what the answer needs to look like. If you write in decimals and their answers in fractions, they aren't going to convert them. Now, the second most important part to me is this little part here. Show clearly how you arrived at your answer. In other words, show all your steps. This little text boxes, not text boxes, this little text writing that is a really small font is really, really important, because the idea for that is that it forces everybody in the whole of Queensland to give a similar style answer. All right? Because it makes it much easier to mark if everybody has a similar style of answer. So they put those things there to force you to do that. All right, let's move on. Next slide. Wow. When I first saw this, you look at this and go, I know nothing about what I'm doing here. Well, that might be true. But once again, up the top here, what you have is a little bit of 4 lines of introduction telling you what it's all about. You have a big diagram here which tells you all the information. Be careful. Please read. Please read. Oh, that's not going to work either. I'll clear all my strokes. Please read the legend at the bottom. It explains what's happening. So all maps, all diagrams have some legend. Now, it's important down the bottom down here. Down the bottom here, they give some more instructions. Over here, more instructions. And over here, more instructions. All of these things are designed so that you give the similar answer or similar style of answer to everybody else in the state. If you vary away from that, you would not get a good result. Okay? Take note of that small font writing on the questions. Now you notice I'm not telling you how to do the questions, I'm pointing out to you things that you need to be looking out for. Okay, let's move on. Next slide. Wow. Once again, a different style again. Now this style of question, once again you'll notice there's a big chunk of writing and then you have a table down below. Both of these are going to go together. You have to be able to put information from there into here. It's not, so you got to read both. So it's a case of can you understand written language and put it into a table form. Once again, down the bottom here, show working. Round the to 3 decimal, round your answer to 3 decimal places. Very important. If you don't round to 3 decimal places, you're not following the instructions that they want you to do. Okay? You'll also, I'll just get rid of some of this, you'll also notice along here, note. Important. They give you information. If they give you something as a note or as a little instruction, it's there for a distinct purpose. It's there to help you. Alright, so all these things are designed so that you give similar questions. Okay, Unit 8. Now, Unit 8, for me, is another one of these questions that has prose. Well, it's a poem. Okay, it's a poem here. Now, I know straight away, when I see these types of questions, I'm not even going to bother reading that section. Okay? If I read it first time, I don't actually know what these items, or the questions, are actually asking me to do. If I read my item 18 and 16 and 17 first, it'll give me some idea about what I'm supposed to do. So, if you would notice, even though over here, okay, 2-star question, 3-star question. Not that terribly difficult, but it is an expectation that you get these right, especially these questions here. It says, for example, in item 16, what does I can't read that. What does in the first photograph suggest about the person's attitude to life at something situation? Anyway, bit hard to read because it's very small on my screen here. What does the position in the first picture suggest? Okay, suggest. Doesn't say explain, just says suggest. Suggest means give us an answer without it. Now, second one, what does the image created by that convey? Convey is another one of those words about the person's preoccupation of self. Okay, so these are words that you should be used to. Suggest, convey. Now over here you'll notice once again there is small font writing. Okay, that is trying to make you, trying to tell you to do something. And if you read that, it's actually directing you to format your answer. Okay, so this style of question, read the items first. You'll quickly find out you may not have to read all of that. You may only have to read a section of it. Over here, they give you some more information, which obviously will lead you down to here. Now, secondly, here's the next thing. You will notice you've got all this space here to write your response. It does not mean you need to write and all that. If you're a very small handwriter, you might only write to there. If you're a large handwriter, you would need to use the whole thing. If you're an average handwriter, I would suggest to there. Okay? It's designed so that everybody can go able to get this done. Now, and that's the end of this little slide. Go back over your work, you look at these, go back to your practice test, have a look at what you did, have a look at the small font, and see whether you have done what the small font has asked. Any other questions, come and talk to one of your teachers. Thanks a lot, bye.